Today, we will be talking about the 1930s Smooth Foxtrot. I'm Walter Nelson, and this is the Dance History Picture Show, where I try to illustrate the way dances were actually danced in the first half of the 20th century by showing you film clips of people actually dancing them. And this will be a collection of clips that includes um, Hollywood movies, which of course tend to be a little idealized, and some newsreel footage from the U.S. and from Europe. Um, Also, I think giving a more realistic view of how people are dancing. That the 1930s smooth foxtrot is the prototypical dance of the 1930s. It is the core. It is the foundation of 1930s dancing. Certainly, there was lots of other stuff going on. There was swing, and there were um, jazzier styles of foxtrot, and there was tango and waltz and rumba. But at the core was the smooth foxtrot, which, if you're watching an old movie from the 30s and people are dancing, the odds are they're going to dance a smooth foxtrot. And I want you to look uh, for the intimacy, the simplicity, the great simplicity, the lack of fancy show off moves. And, we're not talking about Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers here. We're talking about social dancing. And it is the most social of dances, I think. For example, like all those other dances that I've been showing you up to now, the dance hold is very close. It's body to body. The steps, they're walking, just walking, or they're maybe a two step, or they're a step together, or they're step, step, step together on the phrase, or they're a slow, quick, quick kind of combination. There's any number of steps. It is entirely up to the dancers what step they will do in a 1930s smooth foxtrot. And I guess without further ado, I will move on to the smooth foxtrot. This first one is from 1934, Dancing Lady, and it gives a sense not only of the ideal, the perfect 1930s smooth foxtrot as presented by Hollywood, but also how the foxtrot tied in with the popular music of the 1930s, which um, had a strain of very sentimental, sweet, um, smooth sort of dancing. Anyway, here it goes.
The more I'm with you, the more I can see. My love is yours alone. You came and captured a heart that was free. Now I've nothing I can call my own. Everything I have is yours. You're part of me. Everything I have is yours, my destiny. I would gladly give the sun to you.
my first time to one of...
Okay, so that is a smooth foxtrot to a popular sentimental song of the 1930s. You could barely tell what step they were doing because the step was not important. It's about the two partners moving together as a unit, um, and and maintaining as a smooth, graceful flow. The next one is also typical 1930s smooth foxtrot dancing from The Man Who Knew Too Much in 1934. But it does have the variation that it ends with a murder.
Is that Mummy's knitting?
Yes, why?
Donnez-moi. Bang it over.
Go on, Louis. Perform.
What do you mean?
Do your stuff.
What do you think of the average Englishman?
Much too cold. Except when he drinks too much, of course.
Is that jumper for him?
Of course it is. Did you think it was for you? It's a memento.
To wear over my beating heart.
Has it been fireproof?
Daddy, don't.
Oh. Look.
I'm sorry.
Well, other than the fact that this chap has just been murdered, there are some interesting features in there. First of all, to think about people are talking. It's a very conversational sort of dance. Also, note that the ladies with long dresses were using their left hand, I guess it is, to lift their dress out of the way. So you ladies out there who have a 1930s long gown, who might have been thinking, well, I can't dance, this gown gets in the way. Well, just grab a hunk of gown, lift it out of the way, and get out there and dance. Because while you may not be able to do a Lindy Hop in your long gown, you can absolutely do a 1930s smooth foxtrot. This next one is a newsreel. It's from Stockholm in 1933. And it, I think, gives a very good sense of how people were actually dancing smooth foxtrots. So I guess the thing to see in that particular one is again, the simplicity, the improvisational, unstructured nature of the dancing, also the wide variety of handholds. And yes, it was Stockholm, but it's been my observation that the foxtrot was pretty much the same everywhere you went, whether it was New York or Los Angeles or Paris or Stockholm or London, or even in the next slide, Harlem. This next one comes from the movie Swing from, I think, 1938. And it's interesting. It's an Oscar Michaud film. And it is entirely free of swing dancing. The swing simply refers to the nature of the music. And the only social dancing seen in Swing is a smooth foxtrot. And we now move to Italy. This is a Vittorio De Sica movie, the Parlami d'Amore. And it has a cute little foxtrot scene. And one of the things I really like about it is you can very much see that Vittorio is doing the very popular 1930s foxtrot step of going step, step, step together. So you pause at the end of each phrase, which, by the way, is a great step because you can absolutely lead it. Your partner doesn't even need to know that's the step you're doing. But anyway, here it is. Vittorio De Sica, and unfortunately I haven't gotten his partner's name in my notes. But anyway, doing a foxtrot and singing.
Sul tuo cuore non soffro più, parlami d'amore, Maria.
Molto bene, grazie. No, basta. Buongiorno.
So that was another typical 1930s foxtrot. They were very close together. Also note that like in all the previous ones, the men dance backwards a lot. This isn't just a case of the man just sort of charges forward, and the woman is dancing backwards, and it's just this endless driving the woman around. A good dancer switches it up, and the woman backs up, and then the man turns and he backs up. Hopefully, his partner will let him know if he's about to run into something. But anyway, that's a good technique to think about. Leads in that you should lead, and then you can push, and then you can pull. Anyway, the next one is a newsreel from 1930, I think it is, and it's just ordinary folks. Well, I guess they're fairly well-to-do ordinary folks at a resort, but they're doing their foxtrot, and there's lots of different steps and a lot of variety, and it's all foxtrot because foxtrot was this blanket term that covered almost everything you could think to do in 4/4 time.
Happy days are here again, the skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. All together, shout it now. There's no one who can doubt it now. So let's tell the world about it now. Happy days are here again.
Okay, well, there was typical 1930s foxtrot. Um, as I said, it's a wide variety of steps. There's no one right way to do it. So that was a very brief overview of the 1930s smooth foxtrot. Um, I didn't really feel the need to have a lot of different clips because it's very much the same from one to another. It's a very simple, very improvised, very unstructured dance, and it's about a close physical connection. You are body to body. The motions are generally spontaneous and simple. There are no fancy moves. You are not Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. If you are exhibition dancers and doing an exhibition, as opposed to this very simple social dance that also, by the way, of course, is the ideal dance to do on a very crowded dance floor. And in the 1930s, a lot of dance floors were very crowded. And it allows people to just, sort of surge around more or less in place, even though they, in theory, should be moving counterclockwise in line of direction. And I should also mention that if you have more or less felt comfortable doing the 1930s smooth foxtrot, which is to say, more or less just moving to the music, and they come out with something that isn't a foxtrot, something that's fast, well, just do your foxtrot, but faster. They come out with a tango, just do your foxtrot, but I don't know, put a little tango attitude or not. there were complaints from dance masters at the time that they'd play a tango and people would just be dancing foxtrot. They play a waltz in 3/4 time. Well, find that downbeat and just dance your foxtrot to that waltz. The rumba, dance a foxtrot. You can foxtrot to pretty much everything. And you can perhaps at some point in the future master these other dances, but that doesn't stop you from dancing to that particular music if you feel the urge, because the people of the 1930s, a lot of them only knew the foxtrot. and they did it to everything, and you could be just like them. Anyway, there will also be a link on this appearing on this screen that you can click on, and that will take you to my instructional video on the 1930s Foxtrot. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.